A young warrior from an alien tribe of hunters sets out to a deadly planet that poses a threat to all living beings. There, he will face an invincible monster and an army of androids. The action of the film, based on a bunch of other movies, begins with a quote from the Yautja Code, an alien race of space hunters. Yautja is prey to no one, not a friend, but a predator to all. On Yautja Prime, the home planet of the race, a young warrior named Dek sets off into the mountains to undergo the first of the trials to earn the right to be called Yautja. Climbing up with the help of a laser line, Dek makes his way into a cave where his older brother Quay is hiding using their signature camouflage. The brothers engage in a fight with laser swords, during which the small and frail Dek confidently takes a beating from the elder. Quay simultaneously gives advice to the younger. Be smarter, use the environment. When the defeated Dek refuses to give up, Quay throws him into a chasm. However, the young warrior clings to the sheer wall and climbs back up to continue the contest. Then the brothers return to Quay's ship. He keeps a Yautja toy. Once, Dek broke his fang because of it, but saved his brother's life. To complete the initiation ritual and earn camouflage, becoming a full-fledged member of the clan, Dek must go on a solo hunt and bring back a trophy. Despised for his small size and weakness compared to the rest of his kin, he chooses Callisto from the planet Gena as his target, a monster even their father fears. The father himself immediately approaches the ship. He's disappointed that Quay did not kill the frail Dek during training. Tying up the younger offspring, the father orders the elder son to kill his brother. Raising the sword to strike, Quay cuts the rope and throws his brother into the ship's hold, locking him inside. Enraged by the disobedience, the father attacks Quay. During the fight, he cuts off his son's hand. The wounded Yota gives a final command for the ship to head to Jena so that his brother can undergo initiation. Before taking off, Dek sees his father behead Quay. Losing consciousness from the impact at the start, Dek comes to his senses as the ship lands on Gena. The viewing window, cracked from space debris, shatters, forcing the hunter to eject in his seat. In flight, the alien visitor is greeted by local wildlife, unsuccessfully trying to devour him. The rescue capsule lands directly in the forest thicket. Looking around, Dek vows to obtain a trophy from Kaliska in the name of Quay. The warrior checks the available equipment and weapons when there is movement in the depths of the forest. Curious vines sneak up on the newcomer from all sides, taking his toys. Dek decides to fight back using his sword and wits. However, the enemy clearly has superior forces, which forces the predator to consider a tactical retreat. Performing a deceptive maneuver, Dek runs up one vine to the top of the cliff to climb onto it. The wooden tentacles can't reach there. Barely avoiding a beating from the flora, Yautja decides to pounce on the fauna. While treating a wound, he notices a slug on a leaf. In his hands, it starts to swell. Dek barely manages to throw it away before it bursts powerfully like a grenade. The search for Callisto leads the predator to a field where spiky plants grow. As someone approaches, their heads swell, threatening to explode with a swarm of needles. Dek carefully sneaks between the plants to avoid provoking them. But a flying scavenger lizard, which has a nest nearby, intervenes and throws a stone from above, provoking a burst of needles. Dodging, Yautja moves on. From the lizard's nest, a woman named Tia, who is tied there, gives him advice. She asks to be freed. When the bird provokes a chain reaction of plant explosions with its stone bombardment, Dek tries to escape but unsuccessfully. A needle hits him and the poison starts to take effect. With his last effort, he throws a throwing knife to Tia. The scavenger dives at the exhausted Dek, but Tia, now freed, saves him. After dealing with the creature, she revives Yautja using a local plant antidote. At this moment, it turns out that Tia is an android from the Wayland Yutani company. Or rather, half an android. Below the waist, she has nothing but problems. Tia says she is the only one who survived the attack on Kaliska. She promises Dek to show him the monster's lair. If he takes her with him, her legs are still there. After all, even an android has a dream to kick someone. Since, according to the Yautja code, they hunt alone, Dek calls the girl a tool and drags her along, not hesitating to toss her up when needed. Passing through a gorge with a river, they see some small lizards spitting acid. After crossing the dangerous section, Tia says that they just want to eat and throws them a handful of berries. But the predator does not bait, it hunts. Later, Deck makes from vines fastening for the companion to carry more comfortably on the back. Settling down for the night, Tia explains that they were sent here to study the local flora and fauna, which is why she knows so much about this planet. To understand animal behavior, only 2 androids were given heightened sensitivity, her and Tessa, an identical model, but they got separated during an exploratory mission when Kalisk attacked the squad. Yo says this. At this time, the damaged Tessa is being repaired at the base. While her mechanical body is being restored, the management from Wayland Yutani contacts them, reminding them of the task to capture Kaliska alive for further study. Tessa also reports that there is a Yautja on the planet, who may cause problems as a competitor, and that Tia is with him. In the morning, Deck and Tia reach a field of knife grass with sharp-edged leaves. Noticing an armored rhinoceros wandering through the grass, the Yautja wants to take it down to get a trophy but hasn't figured out how to do it yet. Then a tiny amusing creature, devoid of fear, joins them. It growls in response to Deck's growl. The creature has strong armor. Curling into a ball, it calmly rolls over the knife grass, breaking it. When the ball startled the rhinos, Deck follows them through the trees to jump onto the back, but the attempt to kill ended with the monster throwing the hunter against a tree. Then the small creature appears, which Deck catches. But the showdown had to be postponed. A mega rhino is rushing towards them. With an accurate throw of a laser sword, the hunter splits the animal in half, taking its insides as a trophy. But the joy was premature. A tall creature's tongue grabs him and pulls him up, where a toothy mole lurks. Bound hand and foot, Deck cannot reach his weapon, but then a small creature appears. Jumping into the mouth as a ball, it breaks the huge beast's teeth with its tough hide. Dropping its prey, the land-based giant octopus on 3 legs chases the offender. Deck, cutting down a tree, pursues the creature itself. Not to save the little ball, but to claim a trophy. From the falling trunk, he jumps onto the octopus and slashes it with his sword until the wounds are completely incompatible with life. Tessa's squad at this time finds Deck's landing site and simultaneously clears the forest of aggressive tentacles, demonstrating coordinated and skillful teamwork. In the evening, they reach the nearby fallen ship of Quay, where they find samples of Yautja weapons, including a Fatality Sub-Zero model freeze grenade and a shoulder laser. Settling down at the camp, Tia gives the Kolobok the name Storm. Having joined the group, it spits on Deck. This way, the animal marks him as part of its pack, but he doesn't need a pack. In the morning, Deck takes the android and leaves, leaving Buria sleeping. Near the waterfall, the hunter finds a huge fang on the shore. Upset that he abandoned Buria, Tia doesn't want to say which creature the tooth belonged to. But under the threat of being abandoned, the android shows remarkable observance. She is aware that Deck's father killed his brother. Tia tells the predator about Earth wolves, how the alpha male gathers a pack around him, hinting that he could do the same. During the day, the pair reaches the site of an epic battle where Kalisk attacked Tia's group. Among the pile of destroyed androids, she finds her legs. Recovering in the mobile workshop, Tia sends a signal to the base, after which she admits to Deck that she deceived him. Kalisk is needed by the company, so no one will let him be killed. Upset by the betrayal, Yautja notices a fuel container outside and causes an explosion, attracting the attention of a local monster. Kalisk responds to the call to fight. Deck easily manages to slash his belly and cut off his tail. But here's the problem. The creature has incredible regeneration, healing wounds faster than Marvel's Wolverine. Throwing Yautja, Kalisk interrupts Tia's repair. She's left without legs again. She distracts the monster with gunfire while Deck uses a winch with a hook to lasso the animal. But even the severed head instantly reattaches as if nothing happened. Kalisk is ready to devour Deck but suddenly pauses, sniffing at him. At this moment, Tessa appears with cryo grenades and freezes both aliens. On the way to the base, she tortures Deck to reveal the secrets of the ship's weapons. Tia asks her android twin sister to spare her new friend, but she refuses. She doesn't like Tia's sentimentality. When Tessa leaves, leaving the prisoner to a subordinate, Tia tricks him into activating a deadly Yautja toy and helps Deck escape from the transport. Deck assembles improvised weapons from the local nature, knife grass leaves, cobs with needles, exploding slugs. He even sheaths an acid-spitting lizard to tame it. At the site of the last battle with Kalisk, the hunter encounters Buria and realizes that it is Kalisk's offspring being sought, searching for his mom. Then Dek activates a beacon on Tia's abandoned legs so they can return to the upper half on their own. Tia herself is kept in an isolated box at the base to prevent any more mischief. Suddenly, the soldier guarding her gets a hole in his chest from an acid spit. Dek uses a lizard. Then Yautja along with Bura give the Wayland Yutani guards a proficiency test, which they fail spectacularly. They can't handle 2.5 intruders. The android legs actively participate in the beating, responsible for half of Tia's butt-kicking. Tessa, overseeing the loading of samples onto the ship, hears the activated Yautja alarm and decides to personally join the chaos. She directs a new squad to the location, but Dek lures them into a trap in a corridor of containers mined with explosive slugs. One spit, and the squad fell. Next, Tessa appears in an exoskeleton loader, the level boss. A shot from the trophy shoulder laser is intercepted by a hand lizard, getting roasted like a sausage. Payate. At this moment, the freed T. Kalisk joins the fight. The monster jumps onto the exoskeleton, receiving a through wound from a circular saw. When Tessa wants to freeze the creature with a cryogenic grenade, Dek intercepts the throw, hitting the device's manipulator and freezing the exoskeleton's arm. This allows the Kalisk to break the arm, tear the robot to pieces, and swallow Tessa. After the victory, all four meet at the destroyed base. The Kalisk greets Dek as a kin, but suddenly freezes from the inside and explodes, shattering into pieces beyond any regeneration. The work of the swallowed Tessa. She targets her sister with a shoulder laser, but doesn't manage to shoot, pierced by Dek. Taking her brother's laser, Yautja comforts the orphaned Buria, for whom he is now the only kin. After finishing the hunt, Dek returns to Yautja Prime directly to his clan to receive the due camouflage. He brought the skull of an android almost invisible to the natural infrared vision of the Yautja. The father orders two assistants to kill the disgraceful weakling, but the son kills the guards in a fair fight. Activating the camouflage, the father himself rushes into battle. Dek starts the ship's engine, raising a cloud of dust in which the silhouette of the father in camouflage is visible. In a fair fight, after cutting off a hand, the young man activates a trap, then takes the mask from the elder. Filled with respect, the father offers him a place in the clan. But Dek replies that he now has his own clan. On his command, the grown-up Buria bites off the head of the old Yautja. Dek, Tia, and Buria see a ship descending to the settlement on which Dek's mother arrived.
The film ends here.